Stop mistaking noise for connection. A loud laugh in a crowded bar doesn't mean you're being seen. Real connection actually feels calm, unshakable, safe. You don't need alcohol to connect. You just need the courage to show up. You don't realize how lonely your friendships are until you stop drinking. Because once the booze is gone, the silence is literally deafening. No more pint-sized laughter covering up a heart that's starving to be seen. No more pool tables and pub chatter distracting you from the fact that you don't really know your mates and they don't really know you either. And this belief that alcohol helps men bond is one of the most seductive lies of the liquid lie. And today, we're going to tear it down. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 1000 Days Sober podcast. I am Davy. I am not an alcoholic. I refuse to be anonymous. I am someone who lives a self-led life, alcohol-free as fuck, and I spent every waking moment of that life helping other people do the same. And today we are answering one of the big questions in sobriety: how to dismantle the belief that alcohol helps you connect. I'm going to focus on men a little bit today, right? From the age of 16 to 35, I didn't just drink, I connected through drink. We played football and then we drank. We played pool and then we drank. We threw darts and then we drank. We always had a pint in hand. Every meetup, every moment with my mates was soaked and saturated in alcohol. And we weren't hanging out to connect. What we were doing is we were performing the same ritual over and over and over, again and again and again, in a really unconscious way. And when alcohol wasn't involved, when I finally stopped drinking, things felt a little bit weird. Let's just say they were uncomfortable, not just for me, but for my mates as well. But for me, it was like the software in my brain didn't know how to operate in friendships without alcohol. And that is the point, ladies and gentlemen, because men are not taught to connect. We ain't. We're taught to have banter and a laugh. We're taught to be rude and talk in kind of rude ways, to reminisce and be nostalgic, to stay on the surface. We're taught actually to seek out women when we want emotional intimacy and only seek out men when we want distraction. And alcohol gives us just enough emotional lubrication to feel like we are actually bonding without actually being seen. When I was preparing for this podcast, I was thinking back to when I was a kid, because the ages of 0, I've just flown out of the fallopian tubes or wherever I came from, to 16, we were kids, right? We actually did know how to get on and we did know how to bond, right? And I have a memory from back then of my mum inviting her friends around the house. Like literally, there was always a woman around the house, sat on the chair with her legs crossed with a cup of tea in her hand and a fag in her mouth, right? And my mum and their other friends, they would sit for hours like this, talking, laughing, crying, connecting, while all the kids run around playing havoc. I never knocked on a mate's door when I was a drinker just to have a chat. I knocked on the door to say you're coming to the pub. I never, ever knocked on a man's door I said, can we have a cup of tea because I got something to get off my chest? That's just not what men did, right? It isn't. It was, if I knocked, it was to borrow a video game, to go to the pub, but it was always to drink or something like that, right? So this belief that alcohol helps us bond, it isn't based on truth. It's based on scarcity. And we believe it works because as men, we've never learned any other way. Right. We're going to take a short break, but I want you to ask yourself something while I'm gone. When was the last time you just sat with a male friend without alcohol and just talked about life? No distractions, no booze, just you, him, and the truth. If the answer is never or a long freaking time ago, then this episode is landing just at the right time. Welcome back to the 1000 Days Sober podcast, where today we're talking about how the belief that alcohol helps men connect is actually the thing that keeps us from real intimacy. So let's go a little bit deeper. When I hear a striver say to me, but all my friends drink, without alcohol, I feel anxious, I'm boring, I'm invisible. This is what I really hear. And let this land because it's really important. I'm terrified of losing their approval. Because that is what is underneath this. It's the fear that if you stop drinking, your friends will disapprove of you. They will reject you and they will withdraw their love. And because of that, you will become the odd one out, the outsider, the sober freak, right? But here's the truth. That anxiety, it isn't coming from them. It's coming from you. Or more pointedly, it's coming from your wounded parts. Protectors who learned very, very early on that being different in this world isn't safe. And these parts of your personality, when you consider stopping drinking, they spin stories in your head like, but if I don't drink, I'll be abandoned. If I drink, I'll be quiet and I'll be boring. If I drink, I'll be invisible. I won't be able to get into the conversation, right? People won't like me. But these stories aren't facts. They're not. They're not rooted in truth. They're survival strategies. And the problem with this is they prevent you from trying anything new because anything new is unsafe. The truth is, none of your friends will care, or most of them won't care. Not none. Most of them won't care. The ones that give you an hard time about it, there is something going on with them, not you, right? Like the ones that give you an hard time about it, they're giving you a sign that they're not operating at your level anymore, that it's time for you to move on to a different circle of friends, and these ones, they're not in it anymore. I remember when I became alcohol free as fuck, I started meeting my mates at the movies. I remember calling my mates up saying, I want to go watch a movie. Do you want to come with me? And they'd be like, yeah. Because you know what? There were movies my mates wanted to watch that their wives didn't want to watch. And the only time they ever went to the movies was with their wife. And all of a sudden, I'm calling them up saying, do you want to go watch a movie? And they're like, yeah, let's go do it. Nobody's ever asked me that before, right? So me and my mates, we would meet up in a coffee shop, have a coffee or whatever, talk about life, go to the movie, go back to the coffee shop, talk about the movie, talk about life. That's what we did. I would even go around their house for a cuppa because I don't drink, right? So I'm not going to meet them in the pub. I would just go, okay, I'll come around the house. I'll meet you. I'll play with the kids. I'll speak to the wife. I'll kick the dog, right? And you know what? It felt real. I didn't feel uncomfortable. It felt real. Yes, I had to walk through the fear first, but it felt real. And it can feel real to you. I remember when I was clearing all my stuff out of the house when I was going through my divorce, my good friend Chris, he said to me, you know, I'm really proud of you. He said, I'm really proud that you stopped drinking. I think it's incredible, he said to me. But I miss the old you. And I want you to know that's on me, he said. He said, I feel comfortable around you. I feel uncomfortable around you. Me, not you. It's nothing you're doing. It's something I need to look at. And he owned that. And I thought that was great. That was real friendship, right? Because he could see that, yeah, I stopped drinking, but it wasn't me that was boring. It allowed him to look at himself and say, why am I so uncomfortable around this guy who's quite clearly got his shit together? You know, like, what is he saying about me, not him? That's good. That's the good seeds of a good friendship there, right? So strive isn't just about becoming alcohol free as fuck. It's about remembering how to connect. And part of that is building a conscious tribe and creating spaces where you can be fully seen and feel, most importantly, fully safe. Because you're not craving beer, you're craving belonging. And alcohol, I am telling you, is a terrible middleman. Today's daily vow. I do not need alcohol to connect. I am worthy of being seen as I am, fully present and fully real. Brotherhood begins when the mask comes off, when the pub is no longer the only place that you can laugh, when you can cry with a mate and not feel weak. That is connection. That is strive. That is living a self-led life, alcohol-free as fuck, baby. As you walk about the world today, please reflect on these reflections. When did you first learn that alcohol equals connection? Maybe you've never even thought about it before, and now today is the first time you are. What male friendships feel real today? Is it all to do with the alcohol? Or are you actually building a life with them outside of alcohol? My son, 24, he does a lot of this. Spends a lot of time with his mates outside alcohol circles as well as in alcohol circles. Really important. What's one conversation you wish you could have with a friend, a male friend, with no booze involved? Have a think about those today. If today's message hit home, please do me a favor, rate and review the show wherever you are so more strivers can find this work. We are very close, this close, a hair's gnat's thong away from releasing Strive Foundations. If you want to learn more about it, email me at thestrivemethod@gmail.com and I'll let you know when it's out there. You ready to take today's daily vow? One hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, big deep breath. Repeat after me. I am a striver who is alcohol free as fuck. And I will not drink because that is not what I do and that is not who I am. Until tomorrow, much love and strive on.